the USL Championship season takes us to Lynn Family Stadium. Presented by Nucor, Louisville City FC, Loudoun United FC. Spencer Siegel here with you. Eric Dobransky along for this one. Happy to have you tonight as we look at the standings for Louisville City. It is now or never time, Eric.
And as you're going to see for both teams, it's going to be a race to the finish to get points, since Lou City has some games in hand and they have a lot of games in group play coming up. Yeah. And then same with Loudoun. They have games in hand, but they've really got to get some points here on the road. And
for tonight's Power Agency player profiles, we've got Cameron Lancaster, who we know is capable of scoring goals. Speedy Williams, too. But these are the only two guys who have scored for Louisville.
5 goals, 0 goals from the rest of the team. Cameron Lancaster, so good on set pieces, but his ability to take defenders on the dribble, along with his knack to find dangerous spaces in the final third.
Meanwhile, when you see what they're able to do when they score, that's when you know Louisville can be that dominant team. Tonight, it's an opportunity for them to make that climb into the standings. On paper, this is a team that should be winning a lot of games.
Creating a lot of opportunities. You're hoping that maybe it all comes together tonight, because it's not for a lack of trying. They're missing that final product.
You see how many shots these two alone have gotten up. Second most shots in the league for any team. Meanwhile, on the other side, Loudoun gets their first win of the season on Wednesday at New York Red Bulls 2, thanks in part to Elvis Amo.
Such a dynamic player. He sees the field so well and is so accurate on those distributions from deep positions. He also does a great job of recognizing moments for him to attack and be dangerous to score.
Yeah, his 3 goals, of course, leads the team as well, but he has some new players at the top with no Mustafa in the lineup, no Alioune Ndour in the lineup tonight, so a different look for Loudoun United. And that all comes your way tonight. These two teams ready to get going, so are we. We hope you are too. Be back, kickoff on the other side here on ESPN+.
Toyota's summertime savings are here. Get back out there safely in a new Toyota. Go to the lake or go on a hike. Catch some air or some fish. Adventures await in your Toyota. During summertime savings, get a great deal on the new family-size Highlander with $1,250 customer cash. Get $1,250 off the best-in-class Highlander Hybrid, or lease this Highlander for $299 a month. This summer, choose the perfect Toyota for your adventure. Today, tomorrow, Toyota.
Since the beginning of this worldwide crisis, Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport has been flying essential travelers across the country and around the world. We want all travelers to know that we have implemented processes and procedures to ensure your health and safety. We have nonstop flights to over 30 destinations nationwide and easy connections to hundreds more around the globe. When you need to fly, fly Louisville.
This summer, a fresh coat of paint? Rewards. Your weekly supply run? Rewards. Takeout from your favorite restaurant? Yep, they could all be earning you more rewards. Use your favorite Commonwealth Credit Union credit card this summer and earn 3 points for every dollar you spend at participating home improvement stores, groceries, and restaurants. But hurry, the time to get rewarded with 3X rewards ends August 31st. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Every single day, you need to know what to expect. Weather can affect your life. Weather can affect your job. Each member of our team is looking at the storm and dissecting individual threats to give you the most accurate forecast.
We have to do this to keep everyone safe.
The WDRB weather team is always watching. The weather doesn't stop.
Right here. See the world through Sheldon Vision.
My brain is better than everybody's!
Experience life Sheldon style.
Look! A new topical antihistamine with lidocaine. I can't wait till I get a rash.
This is Sheldon Vision.
Why don't you and I go for a nice walk together?
Everything is just sex with you, isn't it?
The Big Bang Theory.
Bazinga.
Weeknights at 7:30 on WBKI.
We welcome you back to Lynn Family Stadium. Kickoff is right around the corner. And as we get you ready for kickoff, it's time to check out our starting lineups presented by Hometown Pizza. 3 changes, Eric, for Lou City, 2 on the back line. The 16-year-old Jonathan Gomez gets the start along with Alexis Swahi.
Something that stayed the same as Matt Soso on that right side.
Now playing as a winger tonight, and for Loudoun, it's a host of changes. 5 of them to be exact, and 5 is an interesting number because you're allowed to make 5 substitutions, and they only have 5 players listed on the bench.
No Endor, who scored the game winner against Red Bulls too, but look for Gamble and Amo to really be the difference makers tonight.
Yeah, and just keep in mind, there's no backup keeper on the bench for Loudoun tonight. So Colin Miller, you, sir, are tasked to do what Wallace Lapsley could not do in Loudoun's last match. That was for New York Red Bulls too. We're underway in Louisville between Lou City and Loudoun. Happy to have you along tonight. Lou City in the white, Loudoun in the red with the white sash across the chest. Along the back line, Timmy Mell, number 29 in red. This is Miller looking for Peebo Dewey, the most experienced of the men on the field in red tonight. 28-year-old Dewey from Tacoma Park, Maryland. Most of the starters for Loudoun from the Maryland, Virginia area, as they are, of course, the DC United affiliate. It's a dangerous ball as Lancaster tries to track it down. It is picked off by Del Piccolo. Paolo Del Piccolo to the far side, looking for Antoine Opino. And this portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
These opening exchanges are going to be fascinating, just from the mere fact as well that both these teams need points. And Loudoun coming into their second away game in a row, getting a really good win, granted against a 10-player Red Bulls team on Wednesday, but still held on, got the 3 points.
This is a Loudoun team, like you said, Eric, that they're still looking to find their footing. And for Louisville, we said it at the top, this is a now or never scenario because they come in with 2 wins, 3 losses, and a draw. This is a great ball over the top, and out comes Miller off his line and well-chested away. That's a heady defensive play. You get back to it, this is the same record they started with last year. Here comes Gamble up the right side. Michael Gamble to the middle. Here's Elvis Amo. He keeps it. Amo, Elvis Amo, and it's into the gloves of Benjamin Lunt. The difference between last year's 2-3-1 start to this year is quite obvious. There isn't as much time to make up that ground, which of course they did, getting to the USL Cup final.
There isn't, and that's why it's going to be, these opening exchanges are going to be fascinating from what both teams want to do, because you do have a Lou City team that got really hot, made that run in 2019 to that final, and with games in hand and games against their group.
Look out, turnover. Nicely blocked away by Mel.
Lou City still has games within their group, so those are big points to get. But it is really now or never to get points and really make a move towards those top 2 spots.
Away goes Josh Fawole. He finds Gabara. Tyler Gabara misses wide. It's an entirely new front 4 for Loudoun as we take a look at tonight's keys to the game, powered by Kentucky Lottery, who remind you that Lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs, including every dollar of the popular Keys Scholarship Program. What are you looking for tonight?
For Lou City, it's got to be converting opportunities. There's no secret. They've created several chances throughout the restart, but they just haven't cashed in, and unfortunately it cost them 3 points against Indy 11, where they got up 1-0 with the Speedy Williams goal, and then Tyler Pasher ended up getting on the board in the second half, and they left with only 1 point. And then for Loudoun, it's just getting early rhythm. They're a fairly young team, and they have the ability to be dangerous in this match. They just need to continue to mesh together, and they're beginning to find that confidence. So can they find that earlier tonight and really build themselves into this game?
You certainly look to the idea that chances need to be put away, and in talking to John Hackworth about that midweek, he said, we asked him, we said, how do you finish those chances? And he said, look, that's the magic question. We don't have an answer to that right now. If it comes down to execution and making the right decisions, we'd certainly be in a much better spot than we currently are. When you look at it, Eric, their biggest obstacle, it seems to be the fact that they've been able to put a bunch of shots on target, or rather towards the goal, just not on target.
They have, and you know, even in that Indy 11 game, they came up with a number of opportunities. You know, Indy 11 had a great save early on when Lou City could have made it 2-0. You know, they're doing a lot of the right things in the build-up and in the final third. It's really just about rewarding yourself and rewarding yourself the work. Even the goal that Speedy Williams scored against Indy 11 was really a second chance opportunity. Matt Soso wins a great 50-50 ball out wide, sends a ball in, and it's just that second chance after a set piece that Speedy Williams is still in that box.
Lancaster picks it out. Dewey fouls him and stands over him, Allen Iverson, Tyronn Lue style. Gets up, and it'll be a free kick.
And you go back to our conversation with Coach Hackworth. You know, we had asked him, because unfortunately they did have that game canceled and postponed on Wednesday against Sporting Kansas City 2. And this coming in being their second game in almost 2 weeks. And when you have a team that's creating chances and just not finding that final product, that waiting game to play more games is sometimes even tougher.
This is a third free kick, and it's Corbin Bone who stands over it. 5 white jerseys in the box. Bone to the back post, easily picked out by Miller.
Corbin Bone's a player that I really do want to see him step into this game and be one of those difference makers, because we talked about it in the open. All your goals are from 2 players, from Speedy Williams and Cameron Lancaster. And Corbin Bone's one of those. Even Opino is another player that they have that quality. Now it's just finding those moments to be special. And with no Niall McCabe for at least maybe the rest of the regular season, you know, it's going to be important for a lot of those players to step up and really find their footing into this restart.
McCabe just had surgery on his right foot. There's a chance that he'll be back for the playoffs. Of course, that would require Lou City to make the run to get there. They're currently on the outside looking in. Here's Tyler Gabara. Had it caught under his feet for a moment. Held up by Farine. Now Jeremy Garay.
And that space that Gabara just had was really the space that they exposed really well on Wednesday night against Red Bulls 2, and really gave that back line, that space right in front of the two center backs for Lou City, really gave a hard time to Red Bulls 2. You know, resulted in an early red card for Red Bulls 2 as well, and they played 75 minutes, you know, with 10 men.
Ryan Martin inherits a task this year that isn't too different from what he walked into last year when he took over at the end of May as the team's head man for Richie Williams. But now it just seems different in a 16-game season when you're a team that is an affiliate with a Major League Soccer club, but don't have the ability to swap out players.
It is that ability to you know, send somebody from the first team over to Loudoun to get minutes, to help Loudoun get results. That you know, transaction isn't available anymore. You know, with the shortened season, MLS is just starting to kick off. You know, those transactions are just not feasible at these moments. So they're really going to be in it, as you could see today, with just the 5 subs available.
Limited on bodies. They played on Wednesday. Lou City is fresh. As you mentioned, Sporting Kansas City 2 and Lou City were supposed to play on Wednesday. That didn't happen. Space on the far flank. Into the box, cut out by Wheat. Brought back out only as far as Del Piccolo. There's not a whole lot of room, and then a bouncing ball does trickle out for what will be a corner kick.
Such a good tackle from Mo right there on the top of the 18.
Presented by Single Point Solutions, in your corner with superior customer support. Single Point Solutions.
Now again, look for Louisville if they can create a second chance opportunity like they did against Indy, where that first service didn't work, but Matsoso was able to get onto the second chance.
Bone to the far post, punched out by Miller. It'll be a throw right next to the byline. Just 5 goals in 6 games so far for Lou City. That's one of the 7 lowest totals among the 35 USL Championship teams. And most of the teams that have a lower goal total have played fewer games. Whipped into the box, Miller there. They haven't scored more than 1 goal in a game yet this year. In fact, the last time that they scored more than 1 was last year's conference finals that they got a win against Indy 11 last November. However, in their 2 wins this year, obviously, that in order to do that and not score more than 1 goal, you've got to post a clean sheet. So they do have 2 of those. Drops to Massimo Farin, cut out. Matsoso wants to run. He and Bone with a nice exchange. Napo Matsoso across the way, looking for Opino. He's got Del Piccolo to his right. He finds him. It stays in the box. Del Piccolo flicked on, and Lancaster took a shot. He goes down. From long distance, it's knocked away by Amo. Claims of a handball. Savaria gets it out. Only as far as Gomez. And Lou City able to apply some early pressure now.
And you talk about Lou City lacking those final products where they're not scoring goals. But even in this first 11 minutes and even games previous during this restart, they're a fun team to watch. They create a number of chances and have a number of dynamic attacking players. So they're just, waiting to put it all together.
Matsoso, Bone. And Matsoso was a little too ambitious.
But then, like you said, the issue becomes is while you're waiting for this all to get put together and scoring goals, that puts a lot of pressure on your team as a field of 11 to be really good defensively. And then last week when they had Tyler Pasher and his Indy 11 team in, they found that one moment where Tyler Pasher unfortunately found the equalizer in the second half. But other than that, they had really controlled a lot of the tempo of the game, created the chances, really did what they needed to do. But when you don't convert that goal that makes it 2-0, and really kind of makes a game out of reach or a little harder to get into, it just, every mistake is even more magnified defensively.
This is the 5th of 8 home games in a row at Lynn Family Stadium. And John Hackworth said, yeah, that's fine. It just really hasn't been an advantage so far. Here comes Lancaster. Long ball across, finding the feet of Gomez. Wheat with the clearance.
And obviously, Coach Hackworth was very, very open with us this week in regards to this is a game, and even games moving forward, that they need 3 points. They need to really start closing the gap and gaining some ground in their group. They still have plenty of time, still have plenty of games, but they really do need to start, stacking up the points. And you could already see Lou City playing on that front foot. They're really going. They're really trying to find dangerous pockets, the seams in between. And not allowing Loudoun to get into that early rhythm that we discussed earlier in the Keys, disrupting them here in the middle third and making this field shorter for themselves.
Gomez has done well to win the ball a handful of times in the early going. He's only 16 years old, Jonathan Gomez. Got his first pro contract in March. 9 appearances last year for North Texas in League One. Came up through the FC Dallas youth system. And John Hackworth likes him, and obviously you can tell why. He's in the 11. He calls him one of the top young players in America who has the skill set and mentality to play at the highest levels in our sport.
And that's really high praise from a coach that has been at various different levels, whether it's national team, MLS, obviously here at Lou City with in the USL. So he's got a very bright future.
Here he is on the ball, drops it back. Lancaster got to it. There was contact, just not enough for Eric Tattersall to blow his whistle. Room to run if Gamble can track it down. Cleared away by Suwahi. Picked off. And one back.
You can already see how active Matt Soso is on that right flank. Whether it's defending, chasing somebody down, causing him to turn the ball over, or winning the ball back in general and really finding that end line.
Gomez turns it over this time.
Everybody said they were surprised to see him at that right forward spot against Indy 11, but what does he do? Just get an assist, get points.
Suwahi clears. Gomez tries to turn, does win the throw. And there comes a certain point in a season, especially when you're not scoring the goals that you'd like to, that you do need to look to make changes like that. To try out different things and experiment, despite the fact that there's not a whole lot of time to see if those experiments pan out.
Correct, and sometimes when you make changes like that.
That'll be yellow. Openo was very clearly held back by Gabara, so he'll go into the book.
And when you make changes like that with Matt Soso, sometimes you're just looking for a little bit of a spark, a little bit of a change. When you are a team that's creating chances, maybe you put somebody that's used to being on the defensive side of the ball, and all of a sudden his eyes light up, and those opportunities, become a little bit more often in regards to he's gonna find different pockets of space because he just sees it differently.
Got a whole handful of jersey that time. Yellow card presented by World of Beer. Suwahi. Openo slithers through to Del Piccolo. Well done. Now McMahon. And Soso on the right wing. Puts the moves on Dewey. And it trickles back to the keeper. You can see that they're working their way to the final third with relative ease. It's just once you get there, then what?
Yeah, and they're working their way to the final third, Lou City, but Loudoun's doing a great job of getting numbers in behind. So, can Lou City find moments where they can really break them down in transition, where even moments like in terms of when they could find that ball that breaks a little bit more pressure like that, where you're breaking, 6 defenders in one ball. Really unfortunate not to find that one in play.
Lancaster flicks it ahead, now Bone. Here's Corbin Bone, back towards the middle, laid off, and it's blocked by Mel. Actually, that was Savaria that got in there all the way from the right back position. Dewey takes no chances.
And that just seems to be the story of Lou City's early season in terms of this restart. And this was exactly the ball I'm starting to talk about. Is you're able to break a bigger line of pressure, find Cameron Lancaster there at the 9, and then Matt Soso quickly works off the ball, and then now you become a 4v3 situation or even a 3v3 situation. But just that final ball, so unlucky. Loudoun, really good job of blocking that.
Yeah, unlucky is a word that I would certainly say John Hackworth has been a fan of lately, as Bone will send it in again. Low cross. It falls to the back as Opino has it deflected out for yet another corner kick. Presented by Single Point Solutions. John Hackworth called Corbin Bone unlucky because he said, look, this guy should have several assists and goals right now. He just doesn't. But based on his quality, he's going to shine through. And here's Bone again. In swinging ball. It dropped to the feet of Wheat. Gabara is on an island, and he somehow gets it away. Opino works his way up the right side now. 3 bodies in the box. Opino drops it back. Corbin Bone deflected, and then a slow roller gobbled up by Miller. %57% possession through the first 20 minutes for Lou City, and now 5 shots. And if that one does go as a shot, it's the first on target. This is a team coming into tonight that has put 104 shots towards the net, with just 26 of them landing on target through 6 games. That's second in the USL behind Indy 11. And as they tend to the injured Loudoun player, you use that conversion rate, right? The number of goals that have gone in compared to the number of shots you've taken. 6% conversion rate is the 3rd worst in the USL. And look, there's a number of ways that you can try to quantify not putting the ball in the back of the net. Eventually it's going to happen, you just look to do it. But when you see a number like a 6% conversion rate, at some point I think it starts to get into your head a little bit. This, I think, will double up as our hydration break as well.
And I think everybody wants to kind of point to Magnus Rasmussen not being back with the club right now and missing that production from scoring. But we're going to keep talking about it throughout the match. The opportunities are there. They're creating them. So it's really just finding that, you know, once they get one, they're going to start finding a good rhythm. So, you know, really sticking to what you're doing and maybe not overthinking it, not getting overly frustrated with it as well. You know, maybe even with this strike we just saw a couple minutes ago from Del Piccolo, you know, you really got to connect with those. But like I said, you're doing a lot of good things. You're doing a lot of the right things. Just reward yourself.
The injured Loudoun player was Massimo Farine. Not sure yet if he's made his way back onto the pitch. Lancaster turns and then gets clipped. He too is in some pain, and out comes the yellow card once again.
And going back to the Magnus Rasmussen point, he's an extremely talented player and did fantastic things for Lou City and is obviously hoping to return. But the talent and the quality is still there in that front line for Lou City, and in that midfield. You're missing Niall McCabe, so you still have a lot of pieces there to really make a run at this.
That World of Beer yellow card issued to Amo is his 4th of the season, which would mean one more for him and he'll have to miss another game. 5 yellow cards in this shortened USL 16-game season requires a 1-game suspension.
And as this game wears on, whenever you're holding midfielder and a talented player such as Elvis Amo picks up an early yellow, you know, now you've got to spend the rest of the 65 minutes really being careful on the challenges and the tackles you get into.
And so indeed, Massimo Farin's night is going to be done early, and it does inject some firepower into the lineup as Cairo Amustafa comes on. And Eric, we both watched that game against Red Bulls 2 on Wednesday. He looked like the most threatening offensive force for Loudoun throughout the game.
He was electric every time he had the ball. Even to be fair, even when he was off the ball, I think him and Endor really worked well together. Mo found him into space. I was, you know, a little surprised not to see him in the starting lineup. Obviously, they have an opportunity to get him on early. Obviously, you hope Farin is okay. You never wish it was in these circumstances that a player gets on. But Amustafa was absolutely fantastic against that Red Bulls 2 team and really created a number of opportunities that exposed that back line.
Here is Amustafa, the 19-year-old from Niger. Gets his cross into the box and forces a save, albeit a light one, from Lund. Substitution brought to you by MHS Global. Now pops it up. So the 21-year-old Farin departs. It won't mean any sort of formational change. You bring on Mustafa on, though, and you certainly have more speed as you see him trying to track the ball down. As Gomez now turns and burns. Gomez with space. Jonathan Gomez. Mel kicks it out. Corner kick.
And it does look like Gamble and Amustafa switched sides. So it did look like Gamble went to that left side of that front three, and Amustafa went on that right side.
Slipped in by Openo. Tried to cut it back. Lancaster was right on the doorstep. Oh, look, it's another Corbin Bone single-point corner kick. Here it comes to the far post this time. Punched away. Room for Williams. Beautiful move by Speedy Williams. Chips it towards the back post, and Savaria will let that run.
Good individual effort. You just wish you end up with something a little bit more dangerous when you have those kind of numbers up in that box from a set piece. You do want to give your team a chance to get on the end of a service like that.
Seven points in 6 games entering play for Lou City tonight. Loudoun has the steeper mountain to climb. They do have games in hand, but they've got more teams to overcome. 5 teams in Group F. Loudoun, I wouldn't say that they're out of it yet because of the games that they have in hand to try and make up, but the competition is certainly fierce. Red Bulls 2 has been more of a disappointment so far. Hartford, who lead the group and lead tonight against Red Bulls 2, have been the surprise. Beautiful work by Matsoso. Bone. Now Gomez. Numbers in the box. Looking for Lancaster. Matsoso. Del Piccolo, Lancaster. Cameron Lancaster scoots around a defender, and a kick save from Miller will send it out for a corner.
And you bring up great points when you were talking earlier about the Group E with Louisville and Group F.
It looks like the flag went up on Lancaster at the last moment.
Louisville does find themselves fortunate, even though they do have games in hand and they have games in their group to go out and get. They are very fortunate, whereas in Group F with Loudoun, that second place team is really almost triple the points, or at least double the points than that third place team, where in Group E, where Lou City is, they're one win away from being tied for second with St. Louis and Sporting KC2 playing each other tonight. Those are, somebody's going to drop points. Somebody might end up with 3 or both end up with 1. So Lou City has that second place within striking distance, whereas in Indy 11 sitting at 16 points, 9 points ahead. You're going to have to get some results there.
You see Indy 11 on the board. I'll give you one guess as to who scored the goal.
Tyler Pasher.
Look at you and your research.
Guy just knows how to score.
Goal for Pasher. It's at this point like clockwork. He does lead the league, although Junior Flemings gave him a run last week with his hat trick, but Pasher's got 8 to Fleming's 7 now.
Well, even when you talk to Lou City about, them talking about how well they defended against Tyler Pasher and that Indy 11 offense, and Tyler Pasher still gets the equalizer, that's when you have that quality as a forward, that even on a day that an opponent feels like they bottled you up and made it difficult, you still ended up with the equalizer and you still tied it up.
This is our official hydration break now, because the injury to Farine did not count as such. At the break, half an hour in, 5 shots for Louisville. None of them have been on target so far. What do you make of these chances, Eric?
Well, this hydration break comes at a good time, probably for both teams. Obviously, Coach Hackworth for Lou City is telling his team, hey, we're doing a lot of good things. Again, we talked about balls that can break big pressure and break a number of players. Here, a great ball in, and Speedy Williams running onto it. And, you're going to continue to, if you're Lou City, you're going to continue to think how unlucky we are that we're not bearing these chances. But here at the hydration break, Coach Hackworth can really kind of calm them down, tell them, like, these are the items that we're doing really well if we maybe make an adjustment here or there. So we've seen it over the MLS is back tournament and the start of the restart of the USL. These hydration breaks have really been those moments for coaches to get a hold of their teams, and whether it's making an adjustment or two, or really in this case with Lou City, maybe just emphasizing some of the real positives that have happened.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a hot night in Louisville. 83 degrees as the sun starts to go down. What do you make of Loudoun's first 30 minutes plus?
They're struggling to see the ball. They're struggling to really regain possession and really find a lot of purpose with possession. I wonder, as Mustafa, gets into this game, does he really start to concern this back line of Lou City and really start to maybe stretch them, where maybe Gabara can find a little bit more space to work. Obviously, we've highlighted the late runs from Elvis Amo that really caused some issues for teams. So does Mustafa really stretch this back line with Gamble and start to find some of those seams in between those lines?
Makes a rare run up the middle, and that leaves 2 at the back for Louisville, and Mustafa can't track that one down.
See, it's just so quickly given away from Loudoun's side that they're really leaving that possession to Lou City.
Brian Martin, who coached Corbin Bone and won a national title at Wake Forest, 7 NCAA tournament appearances. He was an assistant at Wake Forest for 8 years. Masoso into the box, headed clear by Wheat, just out of the outstretched head of Del Piccolo.
And I don't want to say that there's anything wrong with these early services, but if they could just release it just even a split second sooner. There was a service from on that left flank with Opino earlier in the game that if you release it and you just send that a half second earlier, it's in there and you've got a little bit more space in front of that goalkeeper.
Single point solutions, corner, they take it short. To the top of the box it goes. Williams curls it in. It will not stay in play. It's out for another corner. That one off the training ground. Louisville are getting closer. Sent in by Gomez. Cleared away. We'll do it again.
When you have this many corner kicks in this first half, and even in the first 35 minutes here, you really do get a number of looks on what space is Loudoun leaving open, what space is Loudoun taking away from you, and that's when you can go short and go to Speedy Williams. You know, this being their sixth corner, they're getting a lot of different looks right now, so they'll find ways to expose a couple different runners here.
Bodies at the far post. Gomez's service is good. Gamble gets to it, wants to release Mustafa, and he has. Mustafa tripped up. He's got a runner in the middle, but his touch is heavy. Fawole was coming down Main Street, and a chance for the first goal of the game, and perhaps Loudoun, if you can say this in the first 36 minutes, their best chance of the night.
And you could see that's exactly what they were looking for. Gamble finds a good ball in to Mustafa. Even gets a little tripped up. This last touch just a little heavy. You could see him. He was looking for Faiola, and good run. Just so unfortunate that he couldn't find that final ball, because that would have given Loudoun a great chance to go up 1-0 early.
Dewey sends Gabara to the byline. Gabara cuts inside. Tyler Gabara, beautiful individual effort, and he misses wide. That run from Gabara, the best action of the night.
What incredible 1v1 ability by Gabara. He really just needed to kind of get his head up and really just be patient with that final ball. He really didn't need to crush it maybe as much as he put behind it. Just tuck that away to that right side. And those are two quick chances that Loudoun's, that's created. You wonder if Lou City's a little shaken by those two quick chances. Got to kind of get it put back together.
Again, Louisville presses, and they win it back. Opino to the far post. Matsoso was there, so was Miller.
Going back to my point earlier about the services from Lou City, and you could see it right there with Miller, the goalkeeper from Loudoun. They're making these services where there's not much, pressure on him, so they're pretty easy for him to collect, and he's not challenged. They're really not in difficult spaces where he has to be caught in between two thoughts, whether he comes off and takes a grab at it or he stays on his line. So they really do need to, kind of put that into his mind, whether he's going to come off and make a move.
Here's Lancaster. He's got Matsoso. He'll take it on himself. Lancaster, 1-0. Only two men for Lou City have scored this year. That man has done it 3, now 4 times. That goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. And Cameron Lancaster putting on a clinical effort right here.
And just as I was talking about putting a ball in for Miller to really have to think about, they did it. You see Miller, he takes a step towards it to pick it up, and then he has to backtrack right away, and Lancaster knew exactly where to put it. He's very thankful right now to get his team on the board here a few minutes before halftime, because Lou City was really doing everything but finding a goal here in the first half. Credit to them. They continued to find those balls over the top on the Loudoun back line, and now, Lancaster cashes in on one.
The carbon dioxide that you see in the air at Lynn Family Stadium is the collective sigh of relief from every Lou City fan seeing that go through the back of the net. And Lancaster will try to make another effort, and he's fouled, and that sets up a very dangerous free kick opportunity. It was really only a matter of time tonight, but you couldn't be too sure. And now Louisville worked this game from the front, and Loudoun work from a spot not only that they're not quite comfortable with, they've won possession in all 4 of their games this year. That's not the case so far tonight. Bone and Del Piccolo will stand over, and I can't imagine Del Piccolo will try for goal from here. Would he? He'll send it in. There's Lancaster, and his header is just off the mark. He wants a corner kick. He says, how?
You go back to that sigh of relief that you were talking about, the fans. I think once they find that second one, if they are able to, that'll be the that goal that really puts a lot of people at ease. Not that Loudoun can't put one or two together of their own, as we saw them strike pretty quickly there in that 5-minute span. But really finding that second one is going to be something that Lou City really wants to do.
Now the fouls are starting to pile up. Another free kick. That's the 6th foul that Loudoun has conceded here in the first half. And they've all pretty much been in spots like this.
And just as we talked about with corner kicks, these set pieces are very similar, whether you're taking an in-swinger or sending an out-swinger, like you talked about with the other one from Del Piccolo. You're just getting different looks, and you continue to maybe test different spaces.
Bone pendulums it into the box, far post, headed on. Miller rises to the occasion. Looks for the long throw and puts it right into John Hackworth's arms. You sense a bit of tension in the Loudoun United 11 now. And look at this. That was a Mo. He's got to be careful. He's already been booked. With the 7 corners and equal number of free kick opportunities from right around this area, you can only play with fire so long until you get burned. Del Piccolo will try it again. This was too far. A punch from Miller keeps it alive. Lancaster nestles it down, tries to work it through. It falls into the middle. Suwahi couldn't get his foot to it. That ball stayed in play.
Miller's done so well with served balls in tonight. I wonder why he punched. He must have not liked what he saw coming at him, whether it was Lou City players, but it definitely seemed like a service that he could catch. He was very fortunate that Lou City didn't find much space to get a second chance.
Gomez. Still Gomez. Deflected last touched by Louisville. So if you're John Hackworth heading into halftime, assuming this scoreline stands, I'd say you're pleased.
I would say so. I think his team's been dynamic in the final third. You really do need to find that second one. I don't want to overstress it. I don't, you know, it's not something where, you know, they've got to really, they're going to have to, you know, make sure they're clinical as they get closer to goal. That would be my only thing. The Speedy Williams chance early on in the half was important, but I think you're happy with the patience in regards to when you don't like what you see, they reset through the back line really well. The balls they play out wide to Matsoso and Opino, and those services have really, you know, made Loudoun deal with different looks. So, you know, if I'm John Hackworth, I am happy and I'm pleased with my team, and really just want to see a little bit more reward at the end of all this.
The stoppage time of 4 minutes is presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. 4 minutes is plenty of time for Lou City to put one more on target. And look at this. It's corner number 8 of the first half for Lou City. You said that you'd like to see City get a second, but I'll tell you this much. John Hackworth doesn't care if it ends 5-0, 5-4, 7-6, or 1-0. 3 points is what he's after tonight. Here's Gomez. Another punch from Miller. Excellent individual effort from Gamble, but McMahon there for the interception. Mustafa is released along the right side. Here's Cairo Mustafa, saved by Lunt.
And there's that space that Loudoun really wants to get you. You know, they get the Blue City back line stepping a little bit, taking some, you know, taking a little bit of pressure, you know, off and being able to play that ball right in behind. And that pace and that ability, that confidence from Mustafa.
That's the danger he presents. Got the assist in the goal just before halftime in first half stoppage time. Here he comes again. Mustafa leads for Fawole. He's in. Josh Fawole is offside.
Just a split second too late. He just has so many tools as a player, Mustafa. Can really pose a problem to this back line and catch him off guard. But again, going back to your point, you're absolutely correct. Coach Hackworth, 3 points is the magic number. Especially with KC2 coming into town on Wednesday.
Back flick, back heel from Williams. Opino dribbling into the trees. Gabara again. That was nifty. That's going to be a yellow card for Pat McMahon.
And you can only imagine that came from his concern that Gabara was going to be able to find Mustafa running into space.
Yellow card presented by World of Beer.
I think if you're head coach Ryan Martin going into halftime, you're pleased that it's only 1-0 because you're one quick strike away from getting right back in this game. So your team has done a really great job of bending but not breaking, and then earning a set piece late here in this half.
This should be the last action of the half, and it will be an opportunity for Loudoun perhaps to draw themselves level. Bodies forward as Gamble and Gray stand over it. In-swinger from Gray, speared to the back post actually. It was deflected, and it's out for a goal kick. Eric Tattersall will take a look at his watch and blow his whistle for halftime. Cameron Lancaster's goal is the difference thus far. We've still got 45 minutes to play in this one. Coming up next on the Passport Health Plan Halftime Report, highlights from around the league and a look at news and notes and highlights from this one, of course. All here between Louisville City and Loudoun.
Toyota just redefined what a midsize sedan can be. Exciting, powerful, versatile. Introducing the new all-wheel drive Toyota Camry with more power than Subaru Legacy, more torque, and a 2-year no-cost maintenance plan. Camry checks all the boxes. The go-anywhere all-wheel drive Camry is here, and it just left the Subaru Legacy in the dust and rain and snow. For all Toyota offers, including Camry, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Since the beginning of this worldwide crisis, Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport has been flying essential travelers across the country and around the world. We want all travelers to know that we have implemented processes and procedures to ensure your health and safety. We have nonstop flights to over 30 destinations nationwide and easy connections to hundreds more around the globe. When you need to fly, fly Louisville.
Ah, summer. A time to stay home? Well, then it's time to get more comfortable. Definitely make a few upgrades. And since you may not travel this summer, you might as well have the best seat in the house. The staycation loan from Commonwealth Credit Union with an APR as low as 7.99% empowers you to make your home all it can be. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
As schools start to reopen in Kentucky and Indiana, WDRB wants you to be school ready. Here are some of the bigger changes you can expect. For New Albany Floyd County schools, water fountains will all be made into electric no-touch water bottle fillers. Plus, masks are required when social distancing is not possible. For Silver Creek schools, temperature screenings for students will be done upon arrival. Watch all week or visit WDRB.com for all the latest updates and changes in one place.
Presented by Vision First.
This city is ready, and this isn't just any city.
This is our city, your city, Louisville City.
So whether you're here, home, or anywhere else, let's go get another one.
We don't just do this for us. We do it for the city.
Watch Louisville City FC take on Sporting Kansas City 2, Wednesday at 8 on WBKI. Presented by Commonwealth Credit Union.
Welcome back to the Passport Health Plan Halftime Report here at Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Spencer Siegel, Eric Dobransky. Time to take a look at the action around the rest of the USL during the week. A lot of midweek games on Wednesday. We start in Charlotte, Eric, where the Independents, they had an opportunity in this one. This was late after several lightning delays. Dane Kelly gets his 80th goal in his USL career, all-time leading scorer. And then late, very late, Birmingham gets their equalizer.
Yeah, Van Unkel from the goalkeeping spot comes up, get a late equalizer. Charlotte wanted the 3 points and very disappointed not to get the 3 points.
Yeah, that is the case, and that puts Birmingham 7 points clear of the other 3 members of Group G. North Carolina, Charlotte, Memphis, all separated by 2 points for that final spot in the group. Meanwhile, in Georgia, Atlanta United 2, Tampa Bay Rowdies, and this one was all Tampa Bay. That's Forrest Lasso's first goal of the year, 34th minute. And then later, Juan Tejada. This team looks really good.
The Rowdies just continue to rack up points. Here, Juan Tejada really closes out this game with a great individual effort and then slots away the second goal of the game, get 3 points.
Yeah, 5 wins, 2 draws, one of 4 remaining unbeaten teams. 17 points is more than double anyone else in Group H. They're really running away with it. Meanwhile, we head over across the country, San Diego Loyal, and they are struggling to score. But I'll tell you who's not. Sean Okoli, 65th minute, puts Orange County on the board.
Another great effort, slots at home. And a game that San Diego really played extremely well and had moments that they could score. And this kind of crushed them there in the 65th.
Yeah, Orange County is one of those other 3 teams that has yet to be beaten this season. And for San Diego, they're just looking to score some goals. In the meantime, it's Aiden Quinn. How about this rocket from outside the box? 2-0 to Orange County. And it's a tight Group B, though. 4 of 5 teams are within 5 points of each other for those 2 playoff spots. And our final stop takes us to Nevada and a matchup between a couple of teams in Group A. Reno and Sacramento, the class of Group A, I would say, Eric. And in this case, it was a penalty that was ultimately the difference.
Yeah, unfortunate. But then calmly taken, slotted away, and then getting 3 points.
Yeah, that's Vilian Bijev, who scores his first of the year right before halftime. And the 3rd clean sheet of the season for Rafa Diaz, 4th for Sacramento. And that does it for the week's action. But more when we return here on the Halftime Report in Louisville.
The USL is proud to bring professional soccer back into our communities and across the ESPN family of networks. Follow your local club and don't miss these exciting matches coming up on ESPN2 or ESPN Deportes.
Dr. George Champus from Northwestern and U.S. Soccer's Chief Medical Officer joins me. The protocols that were created in the case of the USL Championship and USL League One takes well over 50 pages to document. Describe the USL Championship's particular return to play and the role that you played in helping to craft those guidelines.
Yeah, obviously the credit goes to USL. The credit goes to USL, their owners, all the staff, really putting in the work, getting on calls multiple times a week with other leagues, but also recognizing that all the leagues can't be the same. And all recognizing that the elements are different for each of them. And I think it's important to touch on that because it's important for us to be able to create a mitigation strategy, layers of protection that our players are comfortable with, that our public are comfortable with, while respecting the virus. So USL has done a tremendous job. They've invested a lot of time and energy consulting with others to be able to put this forth. Hopefully I was a conduit and someone who provided, that medical expertise and brought everybody together. And if we can all come out of this safe and be able to show a model, not only for sport, but for public, that would be a great outcome.
Welcome you back to the Passport Health Plan Halftime Report here in Louisville. 1-0 to Sac with us.
What do Toyota Camry and Prius have in common? Both have set industry standards for years. Now, with the introduction of the new all-wheel drive Camry, they both come with the confidence and safety of Toyota all-wheel drive handling for all kinds of weather. Both deliver outstanding fuel economy, with Prius leading the way, and they both include the most advanced safety features as standard equipment. The new all-wheel drive Camry and Prius. Uncommon cars with a lot in common. Toyota, let's go places.
She's been in speech therapy since she was 3, and they couldn't diagnose what was wrong with her. We went to a specialist, and she has some processing problems. The COSER Kids program help us with pretty much everything. The hearing aids and the FM system, she improved like almost 50%. Once you apply the system is really easy. You go online and put all the information. Now I know that she can. I know that she's destined to do great things. COSER Cherries has given my daughter the opportunity to reach her full potential on everything.
To apply for assistance or to support the COSAIR Kids program, go to cosair.org/kids.
My name is Alex Thomas, and I am a third-generation owner-operator of Thomas Car Wash.
Eli Thomas. I'm second-generation Thomas Car Wash. We were founded in 1946. My father and my uncle, they hand-washed. I started when we were 8 and 9 years old. We'd come home from school, my father would call, tell us to come and do front and back bumpers. We could barely reach the bumper, but he wanted us working early. We're still with it, me and my brother and my son. We've been around for, 70-something years. Gotta be doing something right.
We're back in Louisville. We're almost ready for the start of the second half. But first, we've got to see how we got to this point. And Eric, it was a lot of Lou City coming down the right side. And by the right side, I mean to the right of your screen. And they couldn't break through early, but they had a lot of chances.
Created opportunities, and in different variety in regards to getting set-piece opportunities, services in the run of play, chances in front of the 18, and really trying to put something all together. So they're really finding different ways. Another set piece from the training ground, getting different looks. They had a number of opportunities throughout that first half.
Yeah, you see the amount of chances that they were able to muster up, but Loudoun were not without their opportunities as well, and this perhaps was the best run of the night so far.
And although there were a select few, I mean, look at Gabara, 1v1, and he just needs to slot that into the right side. And even a couple chances for Mustafa. And here's the ball over the top to Cameron Lancaster. Leaves Miller in between two thoughts, coming off his line, backtracking, and then Cameron Lancaster finds that lower left side to put his side up 1-0 going into the half.
Fourth goal of the season for the London native, and tonight's halftime stats are presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. We see you differently, and differently indeed. I mentioned Loudoun's first 4 games this year. They've led possession, not the case tonight.
They've given up a lot of possession today, and they're kind of giving it up pretty quickly, and Lou City's playing out of the back, being really patient. So I'm not surprised to see the numbers where they are.
Yeah, you also don't see 8 corners for Louisville to Loudoun's 0 corners so far. And we can take a look at what else is on tap in the USL tomorrow and Wednesday. Brought to you by COSAIR Charities, enhancing the health and well-being of children since 1923. And the other thing you don't see on there is San Diego and Phoenix. That's later tonight. Big game for both teams.
And a big game for the Miami FC against Tampa Bay Rowdies as well tomorrow. If they're going to start climbing into that group, they're going to have to get a result of some sort against that team.
As we bring you back into Lynn Family Stadium, the 5th of 8 straight home games for this side, and they've got just 1 win at Lynn Family Stadium so far. So from their perspective, no time like the present to get a second. If you're looking at Louisville and what they need to do moving forward, not just in this game, but this season in terms of creating opportunities, what you see on your screen there is an abundance of games against teams in their own group, which gives them a chance, if they can get right, to climb the ladder much quicker.
They can, and it's all out there in front of Coach Hackworth and his team. They've got the opportunities. They're going to not only just convert them from the standpoint of scoring goals, but they're going to have to convert their opportunities when they do have head-to-head matchups within their own group.
Now, if you're looking to this game, Eric, the difference at the end of the day will be what?
I think really valuing the opportunities, because we saw it with Loudoun, even though they didn't really, create, so many chances. They really did with 2 or 3 of those chances with Mustafa's ball that he just ended up getting not enough on the shot, and then Gabara, his dribble over into the box and just missing slightly wide. Although they haven't created several opportunities, they really have had the quality, so really valuing the chances. And then for Lou City, that second goal is really going to be something that they're going to have to seek going into a second half, where does Coach Ryan Martin, okay, we get out of the first half down 1-0. We're still in this game. There's still a lot of game there for us to have. And do you open up the play a little bit? And does that, you know, A, create more opportunities for this Loudoun side to get back in the game, or B, open up more spaces for Lou City to counterattack and find that all-important second goal?
That's Eric Dobransky. Spencer Siegel here with you. Happy to have you along in Louisville tonight. Thanks for joining us wherever you are, however you may be watching. Loudoun in the red. Louisville in the white, a goal to the good. No halftime substitutions to report. Did have one first half sub. Savaria has room on the right side. The right back will work his way up. Mustafa to his right instead curls it towards the box. And Lunt will claim that one. Massimo Farine, the Loudoun forward, went down with a first half injury. That brought in Cairo Mustafa, who played well as soon as he came in. It is worth noting, Loudoun started this game naming just 16 players to their squad today. 11 starters and only 5 available as subs. They're allowed to make 5 substitutions, so if they make all 5, that means everybody gets in, but they do not have a backup keeper in that starting, or rather in that squad of 16.
And early on in this half, I could see that they did rotate Gamble into playing that 9 role, that center forward role.
Mustafa trying to cause trouble, and he's got an endless motor. Gomez is fouled. That brings out a yellow card. The World of Beer will thank Jeremy Gray for that one.
Loudoun's already coming out and pressing Lou City much, much higher than they did in the first half. So much like Lou City did to them in the first half, maybe winning the ball up higher up the field is going to be something that they continue to look for. And I go back to the switch with Gamble. Does it become a situation where he plays with almost like a withdrawn 9, getting higher up the field, but then eventually dropping in and becoming almost like an attacking midfielder, and maybe finding those outside forwards, those outside attackers in behind or to feet matched up 1v1. Just see how that continues to develop.
Lancaster chests it down, sends it back to Gomez, the 16-year-old. Looking for Bone. Corbin Bone floats it in. Miller claims it.
Much like the first half, Miller deals with these services very well. He only had a few moments there in the first half where he did look to punch it out instead of getting a clean catch on it. But there, no issues.
Colin Miller. Here's a turnover with opportunities. Del Piccolo, Matsoso, Napo Matsoso, deflected and in. There's the second that Lou City were looking for. They have it in the form of Napo Matsoso.
Cheap turnover from Loudoun coming out of the back, and really, Lou City really didn't do anything different pressing-wise. It was just a little careless turnover.
That goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery, and it's the Lesotho product, Matsoso.
You give him 2 games playing out at right forward. What does he do for you? He gets an assist in game 1, and he tops it with a goal in game 2.
And it's a long way back now for Loudoun. Had some opportunities in the first half, couldn't quite take advantage of it. It's the first time all season that Lou City have scored more than 1 goal in a game. And you can see the relief, not just of the fans, but of the players, and more so the confidence that appears to be growing within the team. Loudoun doesn't want to go quietly, though. Here's Gabara. Williams. And here they come again in bunches. Opino was making a run down the left side. Now it's Del Piccolo. He's got Gomez surging to his left. Antoine Opino.
And you can already see here early in the second half that Loudoun has opened up, and they're really, those lines are disconnected. That back line is disconnected from midfield and so on. And you go back to the Matsoso goal. Sometimes when you're looking to score goals, sometimes it's even more about the timeliness of the goal, where you really did see Loudoun jump out of the second half with a lot of intent to press, to really try to get back in this game, and then you really vanish that momentum from Loudoun really quickly with a goal 4 or 5 minutes into the second half.
Bone with a low service in. That Matsoso goal, the first of the season by somebody other than Cameron Lancaster and Speedy Williams. The confidence you see them playing with now means it could potentially be a long second half for Loudoun. Here's Opino. Floats it towards the back. Cleared away by Dewey. And it's a foul against Matsoso. He and Dewey have been battling all night.
And going back to Matsoso, you give him a lot of credit, being surprised, playing that outside forward role against Indy 11, and then coming in and doing it again. Really that adaptability and that, the vision to be able to see what Coach Hackworth sees in regards to what he wants him to do in that role and in that position.
That St. Louis goal was scored by Russell Cicerone, who had 2 all the way back in March in their season opening win against the Miami FC. And a lot of St. Louis fans have been wondering where the goals have been. The way Sporting Kansas City has played in the group now, the way Louisville is capable of playing, that you certainly know what they're capable of. Indy's seemingly unstoppable freight train. It's shaping up to be a very competitive group. Here's Gomez to the back post. Nobody there to greet it.
Yeah, when you have a side like Lou City sitting in 4th in that group, that group's only going to continue to get a little bit more of a mix-up. Sporting Kansas City, too, has played really well. They came into Lynn Family Stadium and got a result with a late goal and a 2-1 win here against Lou City. So there's still, a lot of results out there that this group is long, it's far from over in regards to who's going to take first and second in this group.
High press, Loudoun wins it back. Gamble. Out nicely. Another chance to run. The game's really starting to open up. Matsoso on the right wing. Charges at Dewey. Cuts it back, continues his run. Body's in the box, that's deflected. Stays in, turns the corner. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Opino. Gomez. And that was last touched by Gomez. He deflected off of him.
If you're Lou City, not only are you doing a good job of creating.
Here's Matsoso. Williams. Back from Matsoso. they're not really giving you any room to get anything in.
They're not. They're not.
They continue.
When all I have is positive things to say. When you're creating the number of chances that they are, and really just starting to get into form in regards to finishing those chances, you have a Jason Johnson that you picked up and you signed, that those that know him from his 2018 season, he could be a special goal scorer as well. Somebody from that Phoenix Rising team that has been terrific in the past. So he's sitting there starting to get into form. You know, dealt with a number of injuries in 2019 that kept him out. You know, so there's a player there that once he kind of gets it going as well. And we talked about the Niall McCabe injury. You know, he's going to eventually be back, most likely towards playoff time, if Lou City can find themselves in that position. But you have a lot of things moving in the right direction if you're Lou City.
See that Hartford final on your screen as they continue their dominance of Group F. 15 points now, 3 clear of Pittsburgh. Loudoun trying to win it in the midfield. They're just not able to keep hold of it. Savaria. Mustafa's touch was loose. Jason Johnson was signed on the 27th of July, quote, in search of some offense. And if they add that to this attack, there's really a chance for things to open up despite the loss of McCabe and Rasmussen. Fawole hasn't had much of an opportunity to get on the ball. He does here, though. It'll have a crack. And I think he caught a fan in the front row who was not expecting the header. So we see Adam Lundegaard will come in. Shane Wheats, Knight done. A like-for-like defensive substitution. That's brought to you by MHS Global. This is the second sub window of the 3 that Loudoun will use, and it appears they'll use it to make 3 substitutions. Brandon Williamson and Jacob Green. Green for Gabara. Green has normally played on the wing.
When you have clubs such as Loudoun with the affiliation to DC United, you wonder if this is something where you're trying to get players in different positions to see what they can do moving forward in those positions. Obviously, you stating that Green is playing somewhere where typically doesn't, and them only having 5 subs available to begin with to begin the night. You just wonder if, are you working towards a bigger picture in regards to, the adaptability of a player, the skill sets of a player, whether at this level or at the next level.
Boy, Mustafa wins the ball back again. He just doesn't stop working. Here's Fawole for Williamson. From distance, Mo's shot scuffed into the ground.
Quiet night for Elvis Amo. He's still got over 30 minutes to make a difference. Picked up that early yellow card that might have really kind of put him in a situation where, as a ball winner, he's got to think a little differently on the defensive side. But along with that, really hasn't had the moments for Loudoun to get into that final third, making those deep runs in or making those late runs in. They just haven't seen enough of the ball throughout the night to get him into that final third. So that's really the first opportunity that he's had.
Williams lets it go. Openo sees space in the middle, keeps his run. Now Lancaster. Shepherded to his right, Metsoso. Bone. Metsoso. We talked about Elvis Amo. 2 of his 3 goals this year have come from penalties. Is there any chance that this season for Amo so far to start, some of that confidence stems from the penalties, but the play on the field, or I should say within the scope of the game, when we're not at a dead ball situation, what can he improve on?
I mean, really keeping those lines of the back line and that midfield line connected, being really the ball winner and that offensive playmaker that Loudoun really needs. And I know that's asking a lot from both sides of the ball, but being a player of his quality, he's gonna have those moments where as a player he's gonna develop those and really run the tempo of a game, and that's something that Loudoun will probably be really pleased to see as he puts his game together. As a holding midfielder, you really do want to control the tempo as much as you can and really see a lot of the ball. And unfortunately tonight, Amo just has not seen a lot of that ball.
Makes that connection. Gamble has to turn it back. A lot of space on the right side for Savaria. He opts to go left. Dewey playing far up the pitch, which leaves that space open as Lundegaard cuts it out and gets fouled by Lancaster in the process. Elvis Amo, who has scored 3 goals in 3 straight games, joined last year from the Czech Republic. Originally spent his first couple of professional years in Ghana. He's from Accra. Here's Fawole. Looking for that space. And he's triangled off by 3 Lou City defenders. And then Gomez does well to win the free kick.
There's still a lot of game out there, so if Loudoun can find one and really give them enough time, I think as a coach, you really do want to see maybe try to make it 2-1 before or at the 80th minute mark. Really gives you the chance to spend the next 10, 15 minutes finding the equalizer. But you can't find the second until you find the first. So it's really important that they try to connect up in the attacking third. As they really have found dangerous moments within transition.
High and deep for Dewey. Dewey chips it in. There's Gamble, and he got it wrong.
And that's that distribution that is a highlight of Elvis Amo. Being able to pick out a runner and play a 50-yard ball with a lot of accuracy and really jump starts his team into the attack. And unfortunately, Gamble really isn't able to put anything together to get it on frame or challenge Lund.
Well, that's the final substitution that Loudoun can make, not just because they're out of substitution windows, but because they're out of subs. Christian Sordo in. And out comes Saravia. Sub brought to you by MHS Global. So Loudoun have made 5 subs. Lou City have made 0. Gomez did draw the foul. I think Eric Tattersall was just waiting to see if there was any potential advantage that could be played. What that should do is bring Jacob Green down into the defensive role where he's comfortable, and Sordo will likely play in the midfield. We are close to our first Blue City sub in the form of Jason Johnson. Starting to see some tired legs at the hour mark. Gomez lost track of that one. You'll see 2 Lou City subs at the bottom left-hand portion of your screen. Elijah Winder and Jason Johnson.
Louisville City substitution. In the match, number 77.
Openo had a good night. Had some opportunities to score. Corbin Bones' night done as well. He had a lot of corner kick chances, that's for sure. The subs brought to you by MHS Global at the 66-minute mark here. It looks like with those subs, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Louisville wants more.
They do, and it's a luxury that Coach Hackworth has right now, going into a stretch where they play a number of games within this next week, and really important games. So now he's going to get the opportunity to see Jason Johnson and Winder and maybe get some more rest for some of these players along with that. So not only do you get somebody to get, you know, some touches and some minutes, but you also to get some rest.
That was Mustafa booked, courtesy of World of Beer.
And at this point, Coach Hackworth and Lou City, they've seen with Loudoun using up all their subs, you know, unless you're doing anything from Ryan Martin's side that you're changing something tactically in the next couple minutes to throw something different at Lou City to get that first goal. You know, if you're Coach Hackworth, now you don't really have to sit there and wonder what moves might Coach Martin make to you know, get his side back in the game. So, you know, another benefit right now.
This is Williamson who was booked, so it's happy hour at World of Beer right now. Well, it's not. Don't go in there and say that it is. It's a figure of speech. But a lot of cautions being thrown around tonight. Here's a chance for Metsoso. Cuts it back, Lancaster. And he rings the supporting crossbar.
Not that you don't see it every game with Lancaster. You just see how special he is in regards to finding dangerous space and really reading the progression of the play. You see Metsoso getting a wonderful first touch, and Lancaster recognizes right away what space becomes available. He just doesn't, unfortunately, doesn't get his hips around the shot.
Mustafa, Fawole, he's in! Big save from Lunt. A game-changing save. Amo, that's wide. Just an example, though. You cannot take your foot off the gas pedal because Loudoun is still within striking distance.
You can't, and what a save by Lunt. It really keeps his team in this in regards to controlling the game and the tempo and really not having to panic about giving up a lead. And that's your job as a goalkeeper, is to come up big when your team needs you. But going back to Cameron Lancaster, he's just continues to show those moments, that ability to continue to be dangerous and he really just needs to find a consistent finished product. He has one tonight. He got one against KC2 in the restart.
Williams opts to recycle it backwards. Here's Gomez. He's been very active tonight. Now Del Piccolo, Lancaster, Del Piccolo blocked by Mel. Matsoso, here they come again. Back for him, Napo Matsoso. Boy, they just fire at will.
First service gets deflected right back to Matsoso.
He tried to curl that in with the outside of his foot. And that ball went out for a throw, which means now is the perfect time to see how Commonwealth Credit Union is bettering lives in the community. When you become a member of the CCU family, you also become an owner. Commonwealth Credit Union, we see you differently. Here's Johnson on the ball. McMahon says, I'll let you come to me. Lancaster comes forward, plays it right back. Del Piccolo has space, cuts it back. Del Piccolo, Lancaster. He's claiming for a penalty. He thought he was pulled down. Mo sends it forward, took a deflection. Sordo, he is brought down and fouled. And the Lou City faithful, they don't like that one, and they didn't like this either. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks like Miller's just right over the top of Lancaster. The play before that, Matsoso, such fantastic vision and the ability to shape that ball into a runner, creating a good service opportunity. Miller had no choice but to jump over the back of Lancaster.
Time still for Loudoun. Green, Gamble. Dewey into the box, cleared away. Suwahi with the clearance. Amo wins it back. Green has to track it down. He'll leave it for Amustafa. Here comes Cairo Amustafa. Dropped back, and Amo sails it into the 10th row. That's a new one. I haven't heard home run before. That was pretty good.
Got a lot of power behind that. Just no accuracy. Didn't make a save. And to your point, two of.
Uh-oh. Look out. I don't know what Lunt was thinking. Here's Amustafa, and it's deflected out for a corner kick.
Not what you want to see when you're in control of a game. A poor giveaway. Really unnecessary giveaway to Amustafa here. You're not looking to try to make it interesting with 15 or so minutes left.
Suwahi had to be alert to it. It's a Loudoun corner kick. This is their first of the night. It's speared in and then cleared away. Gamble will retrieve. He'll send it right back in.
you really do have to like the spirit of this Loudoun team. You do feel like if they can convert one of these chances, they're gonna be flying around trying to find that second one. Although they haven't seen much of the ball, they do play with quite a bit of confidence there in the final third. And even with the Elvis Amo home run strike, just the confidence to square it up and take that opportunity.
Yeah, his exit velocity and launch angle were off the charts on that one, I gotta tell you. But so far, for Lou City, it's mission accomplished. Not yet. You still have 15 minutes to close this one out. And Benjamin Lunt is those same 15 minutes away from capping his third clean sheet of the season. And we show you the 2 goals now, how Lou City got to this point. It's Lancaster chasing down the long ball and then doing the rest himself.
Bearing in that left lower corner, beating Miller, well-timed run, well-timed ball over the top, and really made it difficult for Miller to decide. And here's a little bit of a cheap giveaway here at midfield. Opino or Del Piccolo to play Matsoso. And Matsoso, two straight games starting out at that outside right forward position, a goal and an assist.
He may have found a new home. Down the right wing. Playing as that 7, the winger. And Lancaster will take a seat on the bench for the final 15 minutes. Oscar Jimenez in for defensive purposes. Jimenez in, and I take a look. You see Jimenez is technically in for Williams, although it doesn't matter either way because Abdou-Jam will also come in for Lancaster. Here he is, Abdou-Jam on the ball. And that one was last touched by Loudoun. So Jam, the Senegalese, Jimenez from Washington State. Those subs brought to you by MHS, Above and Beyond.
And although it is a lead that can, technically evaporate fairly quickly if Loudoun can find one, you really do, with a 2-goal lead, you have that ability to bring on players that can really finish this game off, and at the same time, you're getting Lancaster maybe a few more minutes off the legs going into a Wednesday matchup with KC2.
To the back post, Miller to the ground.
And same with bringing off Speedy Williams. Although Speedy Williams had a quiet night, he had a very effective night as well. He really did hold it down defensively and did a lot of good work.
Fans, head to Twitter to vote on tonight's Dr. Mark Lynn and Associates VisionWorks Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next 2 minutes. Vote now at twitter.com/Lou City. Held up by Johnson. Down the right wing goes Winder. That touched Amo's arm, and you see the high press in the 80th minute. Lou City still pushing Loudoun further back, not letting them work their way back into it, not giving them an option to get into their own space. Jam. A little too much for Winder, and I believe that's out for a corner. It is. Winder worked hard to get to it and ends up winning the corner. It's Lou City's 10th corner of the night. Jimenez will send it in. Miller claims the corner kick. Corner kick presented by Single Point Solutions. And we're corner with superior customer support. Gomez has been supporting all night long. Here he is, Jonathan Gomez, deflected out for another corner kick.
And you can see Jason Johnson really making a run for it, trying to get on the board. Gomez has been solid all night. You know, he's had some opportunities with Mustafa getting behind him, but for the most part has done extremely well to support the attack. Had a lot of purpose behind the services that he's sent into the box.
Jimenez again. Miller with a punch. Matsoso curls it back. Winder can't get to that one. Now, every minute that ticks down now, I think will leave John Hackworth a little bit more relieved than when this game started. But I've got to think, though, even with the 1-0, 2-0 lead, he wants more from his side. And although he would certainly be happy with the 3 points, I'm sure that he could find elements of this game to pick apart. And Soso won't be able to get to that one.
He will, and Loudoun has thrown a number of different looks at this Lou City team, whether it's spending moments high pressing them, whether it's spending moments really getting into defensive shape and getting in their own defensive half and making them find those seams and find those gaps. So, you know, you give a lot of credit to Lou City that they've really figured out those moments in this game.
You know, the other thing that makes this 8-game homestand different is the fact that a lot of these other teams is, hold on, here's Johnson, he's got a chance to work on the ball. They talked about, John Hackworth did, how playing 8 games in a row at home is not as luxurious as it may sound. He says the only time we can escape from everything that's happening in the world and where we are is going to the field to play. Here's Jam, across the way, headed clear. And Williams with the secondary clearance. A chance to run. Mustafa's touch just let him down again. Just that last bit of elegance required. Tonight's Dr. Mark Lynn and Associates VisionWorks Man of the Match. The first man to score for Louisville this season, not named Cameron Lancaster or Speedy Williams. The other thing John Hackworth was talking about when saying, look, we don't get to go on the road, and we've heard it both ways. Some managers are saying the road is hard, there are a lot of guidelines, restrictions, being in the hotel is stressful, and here on the other side, John Hackworth is saying road teams get to escape and get away from home, they get to be in a hotel, and to go along with that, we want the stadium to be packed and loud, and 30% capacity is great, but it's a different environment. He said it's the longest I've ever slept in my own bed. Fawole has had flashes tonight. And Soso doesn't have much longer on the ball. I believe he's getting ready to be substituted out of the game. Amo through for Green. Still time for Loudoun, not much of it though. Winder. Here he goes. Winder can't sneak around Lundegaard.
You hope Jason Johnson's okay on that far side after that tackle.
Sordo to the byline, gets his cross in. Into the air it goes. Williamson can't win it. Gamble! And it looked like it may have been deflected. It is out for a corner.
As well as Lou City's played all night, it just seems like Loudoun has been able to make some dangerous scoring opportunities every time they hit the final third. So it's going to be something that Lou City is going to want to point out when you sit back and look at this game. You know, whether it's somebody recognizing their moment to step, press, support, that zonal marking, that zonal defending, it's always key to have that communication, have that organization.
Luke Spencer is the final MHS Global substitution of the night, above and beyond. 10 subs in the game, 5 for each side, and Spencer replaces Del Piccolo. And a Loudoun corner. Sordo. A messy effort from Lund, but it does take the last deflection off Amo.
Anybody watching those Champions League games this week knows that it puts you a little bit on edge on what can happen and what can change in a few minutes or less. PSG really taught us that you can score 2 goals really quickly.
2 French teams and 2 German teams in the Champions League semifinals. It's the first time since 1991 that there won't be an English, an Italian, or a Spanish league team in the semifinal. My money's on Bayern Munich at this point.
I would agree.
The way that they dismantled what looked to be a downtrodden Barcelona side.
And you could say that maybe they used up all their goals in one game, scoring the 8, but just the quality of the runs, the quality of play, I mean, that's going to be there in the semifinal and potentially the final.
8 goals is tough to do. Loudoun got 7 last year against Red Bulls 2. You were on that game at the end of the year.
It was, and it's just, you could see what, you just watched that game, and it was, you know, you talk about converting opportunities, it's just every shot went in.
Two more games at Lynn Family Stadium for Lou City after this one. They play on Wednesday against Sporting KC2. That was the makeup of the game that was supposed to happen this past Wednesday. And then they get Indy 11 a week from Wednesday. What a big matchup that will be. I think John Hackworth really wants his side ready for group play, because from this point out, It doesn't get easy, but there is opportunity. Jimenez sends it in. Punched clear by Miller. The secondary clearance for Wole. Mustafa will turn and burn. Williamson can't get it to him, though. Our stoppage time of 4 minutes is presented by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport.
Lou City really has, as they finish this game up, they have the ability to make a late run in this group as they did in 2019. So it's a group it's a team that's got experience, maybe sputtering towards the beginning, the start of a season, as they did in 2019, but it all started to come together, and they're going to look to replicate that here in this group with a lot of matchups within their group. So those are big turnarounds, those are big points.
Spencer thought he saw a Loudoun hand touch the ball. After the 8 straight at home, Louisville then do play 4 of their next 6 games on the road. They start on the road at St. Louis. It's their first road game since March 7th when they got the 1-0 win at North Carolina. Meanwhile, for Loudoun, a difficult test in Group F, and it really doesn't get any easier. But again, with difficult games, does come opportunity. They host Pittsburgh on Wednesday. They go to Dillon Stadium and play a resurgent Hartford Athletic next Sunday. And they get Red Bulls 2 and then Pittsburgh and Hartford again. That's a gauntlet.
It is, and it's a gauntlet with no mistakes allowed. You can't go in, you know, whereas in sometimes a draw would be enough. A lot of these games that they have coming up, especially after possibly dropping this game, you're playing a lot of catch up to a Pittsburgh and a Hartford team that have almost run away with this group going into week 9, out of a 13-week season.
If you're Ryan Martin, though, tonight, I don't think you can be shamefully disappointed in the effort. They hung in the game all night. The turnover that forced the second goal was the one defensive lapse that led to the clinching of these 3 points. And they had a couple of opportunities offensively that with a little bit more quality on the ball,
yeah.
you score the couple of goals and you get it done.
Correct. The spirit of this team has been there all night and all season. They misfired on a couple passes building out of the back, and they did get fortunate on a couple turnovers. And the second goal with Matt Sosa's goal, that turnover cost them. But you clean up some of those misfires where you're connecting and you're being able to build out, and you're seeing more possession and more of the ball, then you're finding success. Now you do need to find that quality to finish some of those.
One last run here. And instead, why not just go to the corner? Winder will cut it back in. It runs out of play. We've gone past the allotted 4 minutes. There it is. Lou City score 2 goals for the first time in 2020, and they get their second win at Lynn Family Stadium, a 2-0 win over Loudoun United.
Solid performance by Coach Hackworth's group, getting the 3 points that they needed, really jump-starting a string of games that see them really trying to vault themselves into a top 2 position.
0 goals allowed. That's a clean sheet, a Voluforms clean sheet for Ben Lund. It is his 3rd clean sheet this year, and for Lou City, the 3 points is what matters. Take a look at tonight's Toyota move of the game. Let's go places. This was the first of 2 as Lancaster gets inside. Ultimately goes down as the winning goal.
It does, and even prior to this run and after this run, Cameron Lancaster did a great job of finding dangerous space, really making it difficult for that Loudoun United back line.
So City get their win. High fives all around. And we've got the wrap-up of this one when we return. 2-0 indeed. Next up is the Kentucky Office Highway Safety post-game wrap-up. Welcome back to the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety when we come back.
Toyota's summertime savings are here. Get back out there safely in a new Toyota. Go to the lake or go on a hike. Wherever your adventures take you, drive Toyota. During summertime savings, get $2,000 customer cash off your best deal on remaining 2020 Camrys, including Camry all-wheel drive. Or you can get 0% financing for 60 months. And Camry leases start at just $209 a month. This summer, choose the perfect Toyota for your adventure. Today, tomorrow, Toyota.
For the fans who started painting 3 hours before the game. For the fans who celebrate with high fives. For the huggers. The chest bumpers. And this guy. For fans like you who do things your way, there's Park Community Credit Union. Your city, your team, your way.
We still hand rotate every barrel. We still hand dip every bottle. We still hand cut every label and use red winter wheat from the same single-family farm. Because just like our distinctive taste, these are the marks of the maker.
Well, it didn't turn out to be as close as the scoreline ultimately concluded. Welcome back to the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety postgame wrap-up. Eric Dobransky, Spencer Siegel, time to take a look at the highlights in full time tonight. And we start with Lou City, who, Eric, they didn't put up as many shots on target as you would hope for if you're John Hackworth, but 18 shots total is a good number.
And you like the movement throughout the game. You really like the fluidity that this offense saw and the chances that it did create.
This was the best move of the night for Loudoun. Guevara making 2 moves around defenders, and the finish let him down. But there were a couple of chances in this game for Loudoun where, I'll repeat myself, the finish let them down. Here's the goal.
And then you lead to this, where great ball over the top, well-timed run. Cameron Lancaster has done it all season and just buries it in the left side, beating Miller and putting his team ahead going into the break.
Yeah, that goal for Lancaster, it came in the 38th minute. And then the second goal, Matsoso snuck it by Miller, who was upset that he couldn't get a paw on it, made it 2, and put the game out of reach.
And this was kind of a recurring theme for Loudoun, building out of the back, just misfiring, not finding their outlets, and a turnover. Openo finds it and finds Matsoso, and he knows what to do with it.
Again, the chances, though, were there. This was gamble, and you see that they get to the spot, and then it requires one more touch, and it just wasn't there. 13 shots, 4 on target for Loudoun. Hard to be disappointed if you are a Loudoun supporter tonight. They put up a fight, but it was ultimately too much from Louisville. 18 shots and 12 corners to Loudoun's 2.
Lou City really did exactly what they wanted to do tonight. They got They found the 2 goals that were necessary to get the 3 points. They were able to get a couple players off, 15, 20 minutes left in the match. But you go back to it, the spirit of Loudoun United really creating opportunities when they were there to be had, and in a good match.
Well, the win for Louisville City puts them at 10 points in Group E. They are now 1 point back in the live table if St. Louis holds on to their win. However, if St. Louis does slip up tonight and drop points, Lou City does roll in to one of the 2 playoff spots. That does it for us at Lynn Family Stadium. For Eric Dobransky, our entire crew, Spencer Siegel signing off, thanking you for joining us tonight. Final score tonight, it's Lou City 2, Loudoun 0. Good night from Louisville, Kentucky.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.